Gerald McClellan seems like a dynamo.
He knocked out 29 men. 28 of them never made it past the third round. They called him the perfect knockout machine. A destroyer who ended careers with either hand, who made elite fighters look like amateurs. Gerald McClellan's power was terrifying, but so was his fall. This is the story boxing wishes it could forget. Freeport, Illinois, October 1967. Gerald McClellan enters the world with fists that would one day terrify an entire sport. By 1988, he'd defeated Roy Jones Jr. himself in what witnesses called the greatest slugfest in amateur boxing history. Jones went to the Olympics and returned with a silver medal. McClellan turned pro. Both were destined for greatness, but only one would escape the ring hole. Under the legendary Emanuel Stewart at Kronk Gym in Detroit, Gerald developed into something unprecedented. His jab was stiff and blinding. His right hand was a freight train. His left hook, a death sentence. His first 10 opponents as a professional, none of them lasted 5 minutes. McClellan didn't just knock people out. He made them question why they ever stepped into a boxing ring. By 1991, he faced John Mugabe, the Beast, a man who had scored all 38 of his wins by knockout. Two of the hardest punchers in middleweight history, colliding for the vacant WBO title. It lasted 1 round. McClellan dropped Mugabe multiple times and ended him before the round was over.
This time the left hand catches McGuire, but at the Albert Hall tonight. And he's gone again. And Mugabe won't survive this. The former world light middleweight champion, now all too vulnerable to heavy punching.
An elite knockout artist destroyed by an even more terrifying puncher. Gerald was 24 years old. The middleweight division trembled. What followed was a reign of terror that boxing had never seen before, or since. McClellan defended his WBC middleweight title 3 times. Total time, 200 seconds. His fastest title defense, against Jay Bell, lasted 20 seconds. It remains the fastest knockout in middleweight title fight history. Emanuel Stewart said it plainly. He has the ability to be the best fighter I have ever had. He's not just a hard puncher. He's an accurate puncher. That makes the difference. Julian Jackson, known as one of the hardest punchers in boxing history, faced McClellan twice. First fight, knocked out in the 5th round.
Starts in a hurry, as you can see. Nice, good.
There it is, a big right hand. McClellan's waiting with the jab.
Up a fight.
Stubble and stack.
Chance to pull off an upset. Jackson,
He came out very calm, but here he is. He is attacking Julian Jackson.
and Jackson, he's been digging shots. He insists he won't hold. Jackson told us his right hand was shot. Set him up. He says McClellan is
fighting very well here.
But not having any effect on McClellan, who comes back strong, but back comes
Jackson, a man who had put 43 opponents to sleep, couldn't handle Gerald's power. The rematch? McClellan ended it in the first round. One devastating body shot to the liver. Fight over. 3 title defenses. 200 seconds total. An achievement boxing has never seen repeated. But something changed. Success brought parasites. An army of flatterers formed around Gerald, each wanting a piece of the pie. And Gerald fell for it. He fired Emanuel Stewart, the man who had made him, believing he could survive without his legendary trainer. Years later, Stewart spoke about it with pain in his voice. Gerald McClellan and I separated because he had been convinced he could survive without having a manager. It's a phase of my life. The man said something that really hurt me. Without Stewart's guidance, McClellan chased Roy Jones Jr. up to super middleweight. In late 1994, he got a shot at WBC champion Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer, in London. What happened next would haunt boxing forever. 35 seconds into the fight, McClellan dropped Benn with a chopping right hand.
Crouching down low.
This one, and it will need to be. This is some puncher. Looking very low, just below the waistline, and he looks as though he's done him in the opening round, and we thought this might happen, but this man is an absolutely tremendous puncher. He's got to throw punches back now.
Champion with Stewart, a carpet bomb.
Technically ducking below him.
The fight looked over. But Ben survived. He got up, and he started fighting dirty. Rabbit punches to the back of the head, blows after the bell, headbutts. The French referee did almost nothing to stop it. Round after round, Ben targeted the back of McClellan's skull. Gerald's mouthpiece kept falling out, a symptom doctors would later discover of brain trauma already occurring during the fight. McClellan was ahead on the scorecards. He was winning, but something was terribly wrong. His face started twitching. His jaws couldn't stay closed. He was taking damage that wouldn't show up until it was too late. In the 10th round, McClellan went down. He got up. Ben hit him again. Gerald went down a second time. He rose once more, made it to his corner, sat on his stool, and then he collapsed. His trainer later recalled, "I squirted water on the top of his head, and he looked up at me and said, 'Man, that water you squirted on my head feels like it's running inside my head.'" Those were among the last coherent words Gerald McClellan ever spoke. Emergency surgery saved his life. Doctors had to open his skull to remove a blood clot from his brain. He was 27 years old. Gerald McClellan survived, but the man who woke up was not the same person who had terrorized the middleweight division. He lost his sight completely. He lost most of his hearing. He lost the ability to think clearly. For the last 30 years, one of the most devastating punchers in boxing history has required round-the-clock care. His sisters, especially Lisa, became his full-time guardians. The entourage that had convinced him to leave Emanuel Stewart, they disappeared the moment the money stopped flowing. In 2007, Nigel Benn organized a charity gala. The two former warriors met again. Ben, visibly emotional, embraced the wheelchair-bound McClellan. "I absolutely wish it wouldn't have happened," Ben said through tears. "Now I understand. It's the whole family that's been affected." Ben raised £200,000 for Gerald's care. Lisa McClellan started a foundation to help boxers with brain trauma. With proper treatment, Gerald has improved, enough to play with his grandchildren now. But every day, Gerald asks his sister the same question. Did he lose the fight that night in London? Every day she tells him no, and she's right. Gerald McClellan didn't lose that fight. The scorecards had him ahead. He lost something far more valuable: 29 knockouts. 28 inside 3 rounds, the fastest title defense in history, power that made legends look ordinary. Gerald McClellan had everything to become the greatest puncher who ever lived. The ring took it all away, and somewhere out there, another young fighter with devastating power is climbing the ranks, believing it could never happen to them. The terrifying truth, it can happen to anyone.